Your email address is probably on the dark web right now. Not because you did anything wrong, because a company you gave it to got breached. LinkedIn in 2021, Adobe in 2013, Equifax in 2017. Each one put hundreds of millions of records into the hands of people who sell them. The dark web is where those records go. It is also where the buyers are. Most people imagine something cinematic. The reality is more like a very poorly designed Amazon. And understanding what is actually there changes how you think about your own security. The dark web is not a separate internet. It is a part of the internet that requires specific software to access, primarily the Tor browser. Tor routes your connection through a series of encrypted relays run by volunteers around the world, making it extremely difficult to trace where traffic originated. That anonymity is the point. Journalists use it to communicate with sources in authoritarian countries. Whistleblowers use it to contact news organizations, and criminals use it to operate marketplaces without being identified. When you open the Tor browser and navigate to a .onion address, you are accessing a hidden service, a website that only exists within the Tor network. There is no central directory. There are no Google search results. The sites that exist there survive by reputation within closed communities, by being listed on other hidden services, and by word of mouth on forums. The whole thing has the aesthetic of the early web, slow, text-heavy, and completely lacking the polish of what most people think of as the internet. The marketplaces are where most of the activity happens that people associate with the dark web. They sell stolen financial data, credit card numbers with the CVV, full identity packages called fulls that include name, address, social security number, and date of birth, account credentials for streaming services, email providers, banks, and corporate VPNs. Prices are surprisingly low. A single stolen credit card number sells for between $3 and $15. A fulls package goes for $10 to $30. The volume is what makes the economics work. Beyond credentials, you find ransomware. As a service operations, criminal organizations that rent out their ransomware code to affiliates who split the ransom with the developer. You find forums where vulnerabilities are bought and sold before patches exist. You find hired service listings, people who will perform distributed denial of service attacks, SIM swaps, and account takeovers for a fee. The dark web has essentially become the back office infrastructure for a large portion of the cybercrime economy. What law enforcement has learned is that taking down individual markets does not solve the underlying problem. When Alphabet was seized in 2017, within weeks its users had migrated to Hansa, which turned out to be under Dutch police control at the time. When Hansa fell, they moved to Dream Market. When Dream closed, they moved to Empire, then White House, then ASAP. The ecosystem is resilient by design. Taking down one node pushes the activity to another node. The data and the buyers always find each other. For you specifically, here is what matters. Your credentials are almost certainly in breach databases that are available on dark web forums right now. You can check at havibeenpundet.com. It aggregates known breaches and tells you which ones included your email address. If your password from a 2013 breach is still one you use anywhere, a credential stuffing attack, where attackers try breached passwords against every major site, will eventually find a match. The practical response is not complicated. Use a password manager so every account has a unique password. When one site is breached, no other account is affected. Enable two-factor authentication on every account that offers it, prioritizing email and financial accounts. Use an authenticator app rather than SMS when possible. SIM swap attacks can intercept SMS codes. None of this makes you unhackable. It makes you harder to attack than the millions of people who reuse passwords from 2015. The other thing worth understanding is what the dark web is not. It is not a place where sophisticated nation-state hackers operate. The people selling stolen credit cards are not the people who broke into SolarWinds. The criminal marketplace economy and the intelligence agency cyber operations are largely separate worlds with different tools, different clients, and different goals. The dark web you can read about in the news is the retail layer of cybercrime. The operations that compromise governments are invisible even to other hackers. The dark web exists because anonymity has legitimate uses, and because wherever there is anonymity, there will be people who exploit it. Your data is almost certainly there. The question is whether you have made it useless to anyone who finds it. Check haveabeenpuned.com today. Use unique passwords. Turn on two-factor authentication. If you want to understand how the data that ends up on dark web marketplaces gets there in the first place, how data brokers collect and sell your information legally before it ever gets stolen, that breakdown is in our next video.